Come on, then. All righty. All righty. It says we are live. So good afternoon or good evening, depending on which time of the world you're in. And I am a very proud brand ambassador for a company called 𝗕𝗱. So thank you for all you do for me. And if you want to learn about how to empower your frontline teams a little bit more, you can go to 𝗕𝗱score.com. So I am Bruce, aka the guy in the blue shirt, and I wanted to welcome on Tisha Marie Pelletier, and thank you for wearing blue. Yay.
Of course, you know I had to wear blue just for you, Bruce.
Right. Yeah. So blue branding, Bruce in the, the guy in the blue shirt. We're going to do all sorts of bees today, right?
Yes, that's it. Right. Exactly. Hey, Gracie, good to see you.
Right. So I was just telling Tisha Marie how the guy in the blue shirt actually came to be part of my brand, and it was because of Gracie Ruth Melendez. So we'll let you start talking about your branding and some of the things you've got coming up. And if we get a chance, I can share the story of the guy in the blue shirt, how it came about.
Absolutely. Well, good to see also Linda joining us. Linda Russo, hello. Good to have you. And thank you, Bruce. Thanks for having me on today as I'm getting ready to start hosting my next personal brand builder challenge next week, December 7th through the 11th. But as Bruce and I were just talking about this in the green room, we were talking about the importance of branding, and he was sharing the story of why the blue shirt. Some of you might have even asked that question yourself, like, why does he even have that tagged in his LinkedIn? How does he go by that? Why is he always showing up in a blue shirt? But it's so much about that's his brand. That's what makes him stand out. And that's exactly what I love to talk about. I love to share with people how to stand out in a sea of sameness, because you can look at your feed, you can look at your scroll, and you will see Bruce in blue, and that's what's going to make you stop, because he's absolutely living out his brand and his message, and that's so important. So I love to teach about that. Gracie asking a question: is the challenge open to everyone? Yes, Gracie, yes it is. It's open to everybody. The link to that is personalbrandbuilderchallenge.com. It's a free 5-day, action-packed, high energy. I'm hosting it along with my team. And we're literally teaching you all of the steps of laying your foundation from ground zero. So if you have no brand, or if you've deemed it a hot mess, or if it is non-existent at best, or if you're like, I've piecemealed things, I've thrown them against the wall, and whatever stuck, then this is really the challenge that you need to be at. And we talked about this, about why and who needs a personal brand. Well, everybody is their own unique brand. So that's one thing. Everybody has a personal brand. And why? Because as Bruce and I were talking about this in the green room, it's all about adopting and adapting. And right now, especially now, you cannot afford to blend into the crowd. If you're going out for job opportunities, if you're going out for clients, getting new clients, if you're trying to figure out why choose you over all of these other people that do what you do, this is really the opportune time to start standing out with your personal brand.
Right. So Gracie Ruth, could you say that website one more time real slow? Yes. And Gracie will add it to the comments.
Absolutely. So Gracie, it is personalbrandbuilderchallenge.com. That is the landing page, personalbrandbuilderchallenge.com. And it is being live streamed through a Facebook private group as well as a LinkedIn event. So you kind of have your choice of where you want to tune in, but it's happening. It's kicking off next Monday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Good.
Right. And you do not, and Bruce asked me this question too, you do not need to tune in live. The recordings are there. They'll actually be up until January 8th. So you can take it at your own pace. And there's homework, and it's definitely like being back in school.
Awesome. Hey, I just thought of a quirky new hashtag. Maybe it should be bland brand, #bland brand. So if you have a bland brand, you need to get with the program, right?
Absolutely. I like that. Bland brand, #bland brand.
All right. So Gracie's real good at capturing the notes for me. I just love her. And Gracie and I do a lot of co-hosted stuff together. And so is this a good time to talk about how the guy in the blue shirt came about, or do you want to talk some more on your stuff, Tisha?
Yeah, no, share the story, because I think I can just, build upon what you're going to say, and we can talk a little bit more about how I know you've always said, the authentic girl with a touch of badass is really my brand. It's how I stand out in a crowd, of how that came to be. So yeah, let's do some storytelling. I love it.
Well, the other part of the storytelling is when we first met, the hashtag Tisha Talks came from that, because
Came from Ruth.
Well, no, we were lamenting and you were saying, well, I just love to talk. So it's like, okay, then it's Tisha Talks, and it's kind of stuck, right?
It has stuck. It's actually the name of my live stream that happens every week.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. And so again, personal branding is sometimes not an instant thing. And my story is a great example. And actually, it started back in 2006, so more than 14 years ago. And I was living in Dallas, Texas, and I was actually broke and broken. And I met a lady called 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝘁𝗵, and Dee said, hey, have you ever been to a networking meeting? And I said, nope. And she said, I'm going to come pick you up tomorrow. Do you have a blue shirt and a blue jacket? And I said, I think so. And she said, well, wear it. So anyway, fast forward to after the event, I said to her, well, why did you make me wear blue? And she said, it's a calming color and it makes your eyes pop and it makes you memorable. So that was the first piece of the brand, being memorable. Fast forward all the way to earlier this year, and Gracie, Ruth, and I were actually at a LinkedIn local in person in the Los Angeles area. That was when we could still meet in person. And I heard Gracie say a couple of things at that event. A question came up and she said, oh, just go ask that guy in the blue shirt. So that was me showing up in my brand ambassador color of the bright blue. And then the second thing that happened is a little later on, she introduced me as the speaker or partial speaker for the night. And she said, oh, here's the guy in the blue shirt. So it stuck. So just out of fun, I thought, you know what, I'm going to try throwing it into my LinkedIn messaging or LinkedIn profile. And then I created the hashtag, the guy in the blue shirt, and it's gone from there. So, branding is not a quick journey, right?
It's not a quick journey. And sometimes I want to share that sometimes it's not even us that thinks of it for ourselves. I think that Bruce and I were talking about this, that branding is so hard, especially personal branding, because you're so close to it. We've always heard this, you are your worst critic. Your worst critic. And you don't even know the potential that people see in you. Like, you don't even see it for yourself. Like, we're so, as he said, broken, that when we start building our personal brand, it's really hard to tap into who we are, what we stand for, what's that messaging, what makes us stand out. And it's something as simple as wear a blue shirt, and that's stuck. And now he's the guy in the blue shirt. And I know him as a guy in the blue shirt. He's always wearing blue every time I see him. And that's part of your brand. So what happens, Bruce, if you start wearing yellow shirts? Are people going to be like, I'm so confused?
Well, the funny thing is sometimes I'm on Zooms and people say, do you have any other color shirts? So I have to point my camera over here at the closet. Yes, I do have other colored shirts. And in fact, when I'm not on camera or being in the moment, then no, I don't wear a blue shirt. So I just saw Catherine hop on. Catherine's a new meaningful connection over in the UK. And this is very timely for Catherine, because we were talking about the power of using a hashtag also that supports the message of your brand. So, when you and I were messing around and we came up with Tisha Talks, it's so much part of who you are. So, and that's what I was going over with Catherine. So Catherine's in the moment trying to pick a hashtag that she's going to build her brand off of. So
good, Catherine. And I can say that. I mean, hashtagging is important because it's how people follow you. It's where all your content lays. Like that's where the foundation is. And so it's, to me, it's just a great tip, get a hashtag. So I use Tisha Talks, of course, is the name of my live series I host every Tuesday and Thursday at 4:45 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then I also use Convo in my Camry a lot because I do
Mhm.
every Friday religiously for years, have been doing a talk in my car. So now everybody knows that I drive a Camry and that I like to talk in it. So
And
it doesn't
actually,
have to be so difficult. It can literally be, what is it that you're doing?
right. And actually, to build on that, when I was traveling before COVID for work, as you know, I used to do musing in my Mazda because I have a Mazda. So I would often do little musing videos, which I kind of miss because, I used to do my musing either on my way to an appointment or after an appointment. So, but hey, we have to adopt and adapt, right? I can't do musing in my Mazda. Well, I could sit in the garage, I guess, but that probably wouldn't be the same.
You know what, Bruce? I sit in my driveway. I literally, so Friday, kind of a funny story. Friday was, Black Friday, and my car was in the garage, and I literally just pulled my car out of the driveway, parked it, did my video. And my husband's like, "Where did you go?" And I said, I didn't go anywhere. He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I literally pulled my car out just to get the sun, did my 2-minute video, and then that's it, came back in the house." But he thought like I was getting ready to leave, and I was like, "No, this is part of my weekly routine. Like I do this religiously every single Friday." And you said this earlier, like building your brand is not this overnight success story. I know you just commented on Joel's post where he talks about like it's work, it's hard work, it's
Yep.
constantly showing up even if nobody is watching, it's constantly being there. And honestly, I've had people, when your brand is really starting to pay off is when people start to miss you, when
Mhm.
they're like, "Man, I was off LinkedIn and I went back on and you were like religiously doing it every single week and I was able to binge watch everything you've done since I've been off." Like that to me is like, wow, okay, that's why I do the things that I do, so you know where to find me.
Right. And I would say that when you went to Vegas for a very important girl and mommy time, that was my comment to you. "Hey, you're going to do combo in your Camry?" And said, "Well, don't know." But anyway, so yeah, it becomes like a milestone for the week. Well, it does for me because after an intensive week doing all the things that I do, I know that I can hop onto your profile late on Friday and get a smile. So the convo in my Camry is about an insightful smile for me. So I love it.
Oh, thank you, Bruce.
Hey,
Yeah, that trip to Vegas, I was like, so just for you, I sat there and asked my mom and my best friend if they would do the convo in my Camry. And my best friend's like, "I don't have any makeup on. I do my hair." I was like, "What? What?" So I was literally sitting at like a gas station stop, like, "We should do this." And I was like, "Okay, fine. Just settle for a photo. Let's just do a photo." And
yeah,
that was it. So, but I was like, "Oh, we should have done this." But yeah, I was like, I have to have the people involved in the car jump in with me if
sure.
I can.
Well, you have a wonderful buddy. Your Ellie is a almost like the fourth leg of the stool for your brand, right? She's always there. She always jumped in, and she shares her talents that she's obviously got from you and your husband. So
She is, yes. So there's 4 of us in the family. There's Ellie, my daughter, who's 9, my son Caleb, who's 12, and then my husband. And if I can say this, like the biggest struggle that I hear people making with their personal brand, Bruce, and maybe you're like this, or people, but they struggle because they're trying to keep their personal life here and their professional life here. And they're like, "I'm only going to talk about the professional. I'm never going to let people into my personal." And there are things that you don't need to share personal. You don't. You
Mhm.
don't need to share. You don't need to be a totally open book, but you have to be able to share some human elements about you.
Mhm.
Like what makes you smile? What's your day like? What did your kids do? Like Did you and your hubby go on date night? Like, you need to see that from people because it makes them more human and not so much of a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say this. I know I shared this with you in the green room that I seriously had this love-hate relationship with social. I would actually say more hate relationship with social media years and years ago because I couldn't figure out that I was allowed to do that. I didn't give myself permission to be the leader, but then also to be vulnerable, to be the mom, but to also be the business owner. Like, I was struggling so much with who I was identity wise. And I think a lot of people feel that way, that's why they just completely do nothing at all, or just become part of, the blend, the bland brand, because they don't know what they're supposed to really be putting out there. But now, and Linda's even saying that was a struggle for me too. Now I feel that I know exactly what I want to post and what I'm supposed to say and what I want to share because it's me coming out and nobody else. Like, it's me, mother, entrepreneur, speaker, author, whatever those things are that make me is who I am. And that's okay. Like, that's absolutely okay.
Yeah. Well, I have an idea, which is the one I still hang my hat on. And I'll come back to the one person in a minute. But I actually post something personal on Sundays. And I actually use my hashtag, the guy in the blue shirt, to denote if people aren't sure, what mode am I in. So if you see a post with the guy in the blue shirt, then it's more on a very personal level. And then my other 3 hashtags I use for my business stuff. So that might help people if they want to kind of juggle between the 2 personas. But the one thing I really remember actually was at my first LinkedIn local Los Angeles. It was back last year, and we had 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝗵𝗲 come as a guest speaker. And actually, that was 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝗵𝗲 that also got me on video for the first time. So there were lots of firsts at that event. And I never forget, 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝗵𝗲 used to say, you're one person. And what I've evolved from that is a very old saying, again, back to, I was broken a few times in the last 10 years. So back in 2013, I remember I took myself on a getaway timeshare vacation. And I was sitting there really broken, and I wrote down, you're one body, one mind, one heart, one soul, and you have one time. And that was the turning point for me. It's like, Bruce, you're just messing around here. You got one time to go back and make a difference. And so that's what I was struggling with. So if that helps anyone, if again, you're always a one altogether, Tisha. Yeah. If somebody wants to see how somebody else does it, 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝗵𝗲 is a great example of that. Brian Shulman is another great example of that. I mean, they are legendary in terms of their one person, one persona. So.
Yeah, looks like we have a couple more people that joined. Maria and Karina. Yeah, good to see you,
Karina.
ladies.
Yeah,
Karina. Yeah, thanks for joining in.
Hi, Linda, and hi, Catherine, again. And so tell us a little bit more about, you mentioned to me actually on a posting this morning about you're actually, at Cyber Monday, so you're actually going to be giving away some goodies, right?
I am.
All right. So
yes, I am.
The pre-Christmas gifts from Tisha.
Pre-Christmas gifts, and they're gifts to help you build 2021 even stronger. And this is all part of the challenge. So 𝗪𝗓𝘂 put in the link, the personal brand builder challenge.com. It's coming up next Monday, December 7th through December 11th. It literally is an hour of your day. And you can watch it when you feel like it. It's really an at your own pace. But I do give participation awards for people. I always give a complimentary brand consultation, a personal brand consultation, so people can, check in with me on that. But the other things that I'm giving is I do have a personal brand builder VIP group that follows this event. And that's usually like the following 2 weeks after the event, where I literally take a look at all your homework. We deep dive in, we mastermind and hot seat it. And you get the personal why assessment. So some of you who are like, what's my why? What does it stand for? How do I build my message on my why? The Why Institute, I've partnered with them, and I give people in that personal brand builder VIP group a why assessment. It's valued at around $50. And the other thing is I'm getting ready. So this is something coming up, Bruce, and I'm putting it out there because it's going to happen, but I'm getting ready to build a membership organization for people who need a little bit more hand-holding, that need that accountability, that need that support, that inspirational boost. So that's coming up in January. So people who are part of that personal brand builder challenge have an opportunity to win. I'm giving away 2 of them this next week, 2 of them. So it's just my gift to you. But I'm going to gift you a personal brand builder VIP seat that's worth $300 to 2 people who I find that are active. It's really just, it's kind of the random, draw of the hat, but I'm looking at who's really been active in the group and who is really like building their personal brand and not just kind of letting it just happen for them.
Right.
Like, this is work. It's work. So this is about participating. This is about being part of the challenge, asking questions, getting your questions answered, and then 2 people will win a seat to that as well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to give that away. I love that. I love being able to help people and push them forward and make things happen with them.
Yes, you do. And that let's not underestimate the willingness to work, because it is work. And I don't want to be a killjoy or a fuddy-duddy, but if you don't want to show up and work, then don't show up at all, right? So that's the other thing I've learned through all this. And like you, I've had a hate-love relationship with social media.
hate love.
And it's funny, I've never forgotten the first time I ever did a selfie video. I can see it. This is the window of my 2nd floor office, and below is like a little piece of dirt. And I always remember going to the back of the house where nobody would see me, including my wife, because my wife thinks I'm crazy. But anyway, she doesn't get the whole guy in the blue shirt thing. So I went and did my first selfie video, which is an introduction, and I need to start resending it. And I did it for new connections because I wanted them to see that I wasn't this, automated, avatar. I actually am a guy in the blue shirt with real feelings and real desires and real challenges myself,
It's so important, though, Bruce. It really truly is about standing out. And speaking of, where did I have it? I got something from Bruce. I got your letter. Yes. So I have to just say,
oh my God, here we go.
This man, he sends me this little letter. And can I read it, Bruce? Can I share?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So talk about standing out. I mean, talk about like going back to handwritten cards. So Bruce sends me this little message, and it says, Tisha, happy Thanksgiving. To pay forward the caring and sharing, please know you, underlined, capitalized, you are an important and meaningful connection in our life. Enjoy the gift to share with 2 others. Best wishes, Bruce. Oh, so cute. Okay, so then Bruce sends me this. So guys, this is such an amazing concept. And I think that all of us can learn how to pay it forward through Bruce. And he's like tearing up, crying. But he sends me these 2 little thank you cards with self-addressed envelopes in it. So this is value. This is something that he personally had to pay. And this is a pay it forward. This is absolutely a pay it forward. So he wants me to pay it forward to 2 people that also are meaningful connections in my life as a surprise to them, because Bruce sent this to me.
Well, actually, it wasn't my idea. So it was Connie Medina, who is
Connie.
Yeah, so Connie, talking about building meaningful connections, Connie was the first person that I linked off with in my new persona as the guy in the blue shirt. And what I didn't, because I was traveling to her area in Southern California. It just happened to be that I had an hour at the end of one afternoon before going to another appointment. And what I didn't realize is that was Connie's first ever linked off meeting, actually in person. So, so we have that very interesting time in our lives that were critical to both of us. Connie was just starting out and I was starting over, and yet we met. And ever since then, we've been, her branding is all about being the trusted big sister or the devoted big sister. And she is, and she sent that to me. And it's like, oh my God, it's like, I was just like in tears. It's I can't believe it. So shout out to Connie. I wanted to make sure that it's not my claim to fame, but I was really happy to pay it forward. So.
Yes, and Connie is on right now. So hello, Connie. Yeah, she said, pay it forward and share gratitude. So Connie, this is a brilliant idea. I love that Bruce did this for me too, as one of his meaningful connections. And it was honestly brought tears to my eyes when I opened it. And I was like, this is so sweet. So thank you, Bruce. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to everybody else that's on here too. Thank you. Thank you for remembering me. And that's all it takes, right? It's the simple gestures of remembering the people who really matter to you and making time for them and investing the time for them. That's right. Like the simplest message ever.
Well, also, Tisha, I don't know if you remember, but you sent me something of value. Hang on, I'm going to get it.
I do remember. I remember this.
So this is my footstool, and she sent me this sticker. It says "Success over struggle," because we were talking at that time. Excuse me, I'm not one of those puppets that are up and down in the in the show. Yeah, we were talking at that time about, hey, branding is hard work, and you got to keep going, and you got to fall or fail forward, as I've seen some people saying in the last few days. That's a really good, you have to fail before you can go forward. And such an important piece of the whole, what is your persona? What is your brand? How do you know you've got it? Well, you've got it, I believe, when it makes you feel confident.
Yes, Maria's saying this is like show and tell. It really is. So Bruce, the sticker that Bruce put up, and Linda just got a couple of these from me last week when we met for coffee, but success over struggle is near and dear to me because it's a live panel that I started hosting as a way to share stories of other entrepreneurs here in Arizona at one of my events. And it is now a podcast, and we're going into season 3 next year. It's just COVID, of course, but I've recorded 2 seasons, and those are the stickers that I'm going to give another shout out. 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝗵𝗲, my print sponsor, created for me that says success over struggle. And it's just a constant reminder of your struggles don't define you. This is that resilience that kicks in, which happens to be my rule of life lesson today on resilience. But this is when that resilience kicks in and you start to find the success even from the struggles. And, as Bruce and I were talking about this in the green room, I share this, that I didn't know what my personal brand was. I actually struggled with it quite a bit years ago because I wasn't quite sure who I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to do, what I'm supposed to say, all of this. And I find it just quite interesting that life for me, Bruce, has come so full circle that now I get to teach people how to do it for themselves, how to stand out, how to build their brand, how to build the foundation, how to do it the right way the first time, and how to walk away with tangible items that they can start using to build their brand. Not just, I coached you, now go figure it out. I actually like hold my hand and let's build it together. Let's build it.
Actually, even though we operate in different arenas, that's the whole concept of my simpler, faster, better. I have to be a product of simpler, faster, better. And I find myself sometimes being more complicated, takes longer, and awful. So when I get into that kind of fuzz in my head, then I have to step back and say, okay, Bruce, if you're going to be simpler, faster, better, what do you need to do? And then that's when the work starts again. So, you get to a certain point and then you can't just stay there. The work has to start over, because there's always different ways to become simpler and faster and better. So
And something that you said, I really liked how you shared this, Bruce, is you said, I have to be a product of simpler, faster, better. Just
right.
like I, Tisha, need to be a product of the Personal Brand Builder Challenge. I am not getting up there every single day and teaching out of nothingness. I am getting up there and teaching out of my own journey that brought me to this point, which people know as this is the authentic with a touch of badass girl. It didn't just happen overnight. It was a process that took me years to get here, to where, as Connie is saying, when branding is right, it feels good. When you know who you are inside and out, you know what you're supposed to say, you know how to say it, you know that that's unique to you. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell people too, is when you know exactly who you are, it's like the floodgates open and you know what you're supposed to do. There's no more confusion anymore.
Right. And as Connie recently added, see, she's the devoted big sister, and I am actually honored to be working with her this month. Well, the month of December. So Connie is actually a coach around clarity, and I've been stuck in it instead of working on it. So I reached out to Connie as my first linked off meaningful connection, other than the people that I met at LinkedIn Locals in LA. And we've come full circle, as you said. You know, Connie is the product of her own product, and I love that. And so we're teaming up, and she's helping me with clarity for 2021. So,
Bruce, I think you just inspired this Friday's convo in my Camry. I'm going to use this actually as part of my convo. So you guys are getting a little sneak peek at this, but I love that. I love that message of be a product of what it is you offer. What you do for a living, you should have gone through yourself, truthfully.
Yeah.
You really should.
Well, isn't that what really means, you know, authentic with a touch of badass?
You know it. And speaking of that story, Bruce, I don't know if we have a lot of time for this, but earlier on, we were talking about, you know, your story to become the guy in the blue shirt. And and you had asked me in the green room about like the authentic with a touch of badass, how that came to be. And I shared earlier that sometimes we're so close to our own brand, our own personal brand, that we don't even see the potential in ourselves. Somebody else sees it and they tap into it and go, do you know you are blank? And you're like, oh my gosh, no, I don't know that about myself. And so you guys that comment or tag me or share that, like authentic with a touch of badass became my brand because someone else saw it in me. Someone else saw that in me before I even saw it in myself. And I was sharing the story that I came off of a talk at Phoenix Startup Week in 2018. A woman by the name of Sophia Olivius, I credit her to this day, came up to me. She had been following my journey, Bruce, but we never actually met. She was in the audience. She watched me speak. I literally was wearing jeans, Converse, a blazer, and a t-shirt. Spoke on the 10 essentials every business needs to crush it in their business. And she came up to me after and she's like, oh my gosh, I love how you speak. I love how you talk. If I can just say this, you are like the authentic girl with a touch of badass.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works. And just to leverage off of that, I have another hashtag called Process Cleanup, and that actually came externally as well, because late last year, I was doing a Zoom with a lady that actually promotes short books. And so we talk about two different worlds, and she kept saying to me, Bruce, I don't understand what it is you do. I really don't understand what you help people with. And we talked and talked and talked. And she said, oh, so you clean up processes. It's like, boom. Yes, boom. So amazingly to me, it's like I went literally that 20 minutes after our call, I went to see if processcleanup.com was available, and it is. And it was. So I took it. So yeah, so that's become also another foundation of, you know, when it's all part of that brand story. When you piece together particularly the external feedback that you get. Never ever discount the external feedback, because it may lead you to something that you've been seeking internally. Just amazing how that works.
Absolutely. I think the same thing. I think check in with your tribe. Just like Bruce came to me. Like, I remember, Bruce, you said, Tisha Tales, Tisha Talks, Tisha Tells All. Like, you had given me some nuggets to just choose from. And at the end of the day, I was like, oh, Tisha Talks is so simple. It is simple.
And it's so
I think I'll use that. And I laugh because people have often asked about Convo in my Camry, and what if I get rid of my Camry? Will I go get another Camry? And I'm tempted. But at the same time, I know that I will always have Tisha Talks as the umbrella, no matter what car I'm driving or what jet plane I want to fly off into. It's okay. Like, it's okay, because that is my big umbrella. And these are, Convo in my Camry is just one thing that I do.
Sure. Well, that director over there in the Toyota dealer needs to step up and make sure you have a Convo in your Camry for 2021, and give you a Camry, I think, right?
I know. I'm going to say that I think COVID is just kind of, challenged dealerships in some ways. They were actually sharing that their inventory is pretty low, given the situation. And so it's not off the table, but we'll see. We'll keep pushing for it, for sure.
You never know. You might be able to get an demo one, because, the car business is doing extraordinarily well. It's amazing.
Right.
Talk about adopt and adapt. Oh my goodness. Like,
absolutely. Darren's on. Hey, Darren.
Right.
Good to see
Darren.
you.
Oh, we have some really good followers here. You and I cross paths with the same meaningful connection, so it's amazing. It's just
we do.
All right. So, any kind of final closing thoughts on branding? I think you should add in blue to your authentic with a touch of badass.
I really should, because Bruce, you've often said, you're like, you look so good in blue. And I was like, I actually really like blue. So one of the things in my challenge, my good friend 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝗀𝗵 comes in and she talks about the importance of color. And we do that on day 2, because how many of you ladies that are sitting here in the comments with us resort to black? Like, you wear black because it's a default color. And then you go into a networking event and it's all black shirts, black dresses, black pants, black purses. And that's exactly what we teach you. Is you don't have to. Actually, you kind of can see it. I'm going to move a little bit. You see that pillow right there, Bruce, that pink pillow? That's actually my signature color. You guys know that. My logo is like that fuchsia pink. And I remember 𝗕𝗱𝘀 in this challenge, I said, what does pink signify? Like, it's not just pink. It's not baby pink. What does that fuchsia pink signify for me? And every color has a meaning. You know that. Like, every color has a meaning. Like, blue could be calming, tranquil, all of this. Well, that pink back there is vibrant energy, like people lover. Like, and I was like, yes, that's exactly why I'm drawn to that color and colors in that same tone, because it is who I am. Right. You're drawn to the colors, and that is so much about your personality and your brand and your presence. So show up wearing that color that you really love, because that will really stand out. It really does emphasize your personality too.
Yeah. So for those of you that may not know Tisha very well, she's pretty fiery and vivacious, and that's so that hot pink is what always reminds me.
That hot pink.
I have a couple other meaningful connections that love that color. Julia Mulholland is one. 𝗕cie 𝗂𝗰𝗵 is another. So when they're on their mode, you can tell they're in that vivacious, fiery, hot pink kind of color, even though they may not be wearing the color. And this is going to sound a little funny as well, and I've never shared this before, so we'll see if this is a hateful or a loveful moment on social media. But one of my mentors about if I could communicate like that person, his name's actually Alexander Rossi. He's a IndyCar racing driver, and he drives for 𝗕𝗱, which has the bright blue. So, so what I've come to align with is when I'm in my positive voice, I always think of Alexander. When I'm in my negative voice, I have this voice, and he's called Chipmunk Charlie. So Chipmunk Charlie and Alexander go to battle on a daily basis. So again, that's part of the work. You know, people don't realize that those negative voices are part of the work. You have to find a positive voice, a positive persona, no pun intended. Oh, lots of P's there. Positivity will counteract the negativity, and you can move forward.
Absolutely. I know Gracie just put a comment up of, that is what I was thinking. What would your video say about you when you are in your Tesla? And, you know, it's funny, Gracie, because I've actually had a comment, someone commented, they're like, how about going after Tesla and having it like be Tisha and the Tesla? And, you know, I just look at this and I was like, sky's the limit. I mean, I never would have thought that speaking in my car years ago, just to get away from the kids, and just to have an outlet and to have good acoustics, like good lighting, like I could control the lighting just by moving my car, would actually move into something where it has brought me so many amazing connections, like Bruce, like 𝗕𝗱𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀, who I know, Bruce, you're going to have on your segment in the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
next week. But, you know, when we talk about branding, it's you putting yourself out there. It's you getting uncomfortable, but look at what the effect is. Look at the impact you have on other people when you're showing up as you. Honestly, when you show up as you, the right people come, and those are the people that you start to create those meaningful connections with that you can then send this card to. That's honestly what the simple way is. That's it. That's the secret sauce right there, right, Bruce?
Yep, secret sauce. So you mentioned an airplane earlier. You may not know, but one of the leading small business jets is called a Citation. So maybe it should be Convo in my Citation in 2021.
We shall see. Hey, sky's the limit, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of aircraft out there waiting for customers. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I'm game. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, if I know anyone with a Citation, I'll connect you and say, hey, you need to figure out how to do a convo in the Citation, and maybe you can fly around Arizona on a Friday afternoon instead of in your
that
Camry.
Sounds good. Parked in my driveway in my Camry. Yeah, that sounds good.
Look, that would be a step up, a step above, right?
Yes, it will. Keep leveling it up.
Yeah. 20,000 feet instead of at 0 feet, right?
Exactly.
Right, well, it's awesome to catch up with you again. I'm thankful for Rever allowing me to be their brand ambassador. And also, if you happen to see this as #replay, you can still add comments, so don't be shy. If you are shy and you want some more intel on what Tisha's branding challenge is all about, she loves direct messages, and she does answer them all herself, which is amazing. I love that. Yeah, I always answer all my own DMs for sure.
Good. All right. Well, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Darren, Karina, Gracie, Linda, Connie, like everybody that was on with us today. I really appreciate all the comments. And that link again is personalbrandbuilderchallenge.com if you're interested in tuning in with me and my team next week. Bruce, I think you'll also be there as well, or at least catching the replays. And yeah, just a lot of good information. Got good information as we kick off into 2021 of how to build your brand the right way, build it strong, build it with the right foundation.
Yep, and I want to shout out a couple of Catherine. I'm glad you made it. So we'll see what she comes up with from this, and hopefully she can join the challenge as well. And there were some LinkedIn users. I know people need to be in ghost mode sometimes. So thank you, whoever the LinkedIn users are. Thanks for that. And Tisha, if you just want to hang on, I'll let you know how you can get the feed. Thanks, everyone. Right.
Bye, everyone.
Marvelous Monday.